currently, in today's world, here we are, January of 2024. If I have sleep apnea through a sleep study, right? I go get my sleep study and I have sleep apnea and I get prescribed a CPAP for my sleep apnea, and it's all service connected, right? It's all that part's taken care of. I'm going to be rated at 50% simply based on the fact that I've been prescribed a CPAP.
Yes.
50% is an outstanding rating. So my thought here is, as the VA's changes are proposed to reduce that, if I remember right, down to a 0% if treatable with a CPAP. What do you think the VA's looking at as far as treatable is concerned? Because in my mind, I don't have sleep apnea, so I don't know. But in my mind, just sleeping with a CPAP, I am not sleeping very well at all.
That's the veterans' #1 argument. Of everyone I know, my personal friends, the majority of them have sleep apnea, and only 2 of them actually use their CPAP. I have, because they just simply can't sleep. It's loud, it's clunky. You got stuff on your. I don't even like if my wife touches me in bed. I'm like, hey, get over there, let me sleep here. So the treatable so of all the proposed changes, this one is most weird. So basically, right now we see the 38 CFR as treatment-based ratings. The VA does not want treatment-based ratings. As you say, 50%, that's a solid rating. And if you have sleep apnea, the most common sleep apnea is obstructive. That's what requires the CPAP. There's central, and that has a 30% rating. I've only seen one veteran with a central sleep apnea, right? It's overwhelming majority obstructive sleep apnea. And so now the proposed changes aren't treatment-based, but it's actually symptoms. Now, let's talk hypertension real quick. It's going to be very similar to hypertension. The most common rating is 0%, which is crazy because hypertension is a very serious condition, right? It's that will kill you, right?
Right.
But the most common rating is 0%. The second most common rating is 10%, which again is very low, but it's because it's treatable with medication,
right?
There's a diastolic and systolic number there. Then there's an or statement that says or medication handles that. I think that's what we're going to see with sleep apnea, right? Where you see the 0% for most ratings, and then you see the lower number saying, yeah, you got sleep apnea, but you have a CPAP, so you'll be all right. That's the layman version of the proposed sleep apnea change.
Right. So what I understand, and I'd like to hear your kind of thought on this, if implemented as written from the VA for this proposed change of sleep apnea, it seems to me like this is what they're going to have to do. Okay, fine. You have sleep apnea. Got it. It's going to be service connected. Got it. Your sleep study shows, and we decide you need a CPAP. Great. But now, in order to provide you a correct rating, we actually need to do a sleep study with you with your CPAP to see if it's, if it's actually working. Because what are they going to do? Are they going to ask you if you're, so is the CPAP working for you? No, it's not. They're not going to ask you. They're going to need evidence, right? So how are they going to do it? Is that kind of what you're thinking is going to have to happen?
I think that it could be. That's very that's resource intensive. That's more money, right?
Yeah.
Just as the VA is with this proposed rating, they could save money. They're going to be spending it on more C&P exams. Okay.
Right.
So that's
overnight.
That's an aspect. Yeah, that's an aspect there. And then that also assumes that veteran during that test can sleep with that CPAP and they can get accurate readings. How many times has a veteran gone in for a sleep study, said, hey, it's inadequate, we need to do another one, right? So now what's going to happen? That's more resource intensive. There's just, it's the most weird to me. There's tons of questions I have. Of the ones that we see with tinnitus, sleep apnea, and mental health, sleep apnea has my full attention, right? And there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to wait. We have to wait and see. I would love to see the commentations or the commentary period for sleep apnea,
Right.
and just kind of see who weighed in on how that diagnostic test and that symptomology test would actually happen.
Right. Because you can't just you can't ask. I mean, you can't just, okay, come in for your CNP exam. How's the CPAP working for you? It's so they're going to have to. The way I'm viewing this is the VA. To the VA, I can say it's not working. Prove to me, VA, that it's not. That I'm not being treated well with my CPAP. I should be at 50% because it's not working. Prove to me otherwise is kind of the methodology. So then the VA is going to have to go, okay, well, we're going to have to do, either they're going to send you home with a thing and you got to, test yourself or whatever, but in some way they're going to have to test you whether it works or not.